Okay. All right. So please be better in the chat 6 hour than we were yesterday. Um, and then maybe we can get out of this early. So always ask questions I think are very doable. So pi over 6, we're not going to put that in the chat. If we don't know that's 30 degrees, you're behind. Right? I'm going to say that all day long. Things that you're behind on if you don't know these things, especially back to chapter 1, why I told you some things were backbone stuff like knowing 30, 60, 90 sides and 45, 45, 90. Speaking of 45s, pi over 4 is a 45. Pi over 3 is actually equal to 60. They are equal if you did your conversion, in section 3.1, number 83. Again, the unit circle going around. By the way, on the test, you will have to fill in parts of the unit circle and know what they are. So you do have to know that, how I did the radians and went all the way around. Pi over 2 is any over 2 ends up being a 90 or a 270. So when you're an over 2, you're on a y-axis. That's the point of that one. And then anytime you have pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, no fraction, and then integer in front of pi, you're either at the negative x-axis or the positive. So that's the point of this little, whatchamacallit, this little cheat sheet. That's not really what I'm looking for, though. And then later, I'm going to be honest, the worst questions, your toughest questions, and actually they weren't so great on the last test where we did calculator questions. Just how do you type this on your calculator and get an answer? It was not a good section. And they are the toughest because I think students don't understand something. So I have these words down here. What goes in this blank right here? Is it angle or ratio of sides? So what I'm asking in the structure of a question, what do you tan? Do you tan an angle or a ratio of sides? Let's start off in the chat 6th hour. What's the answer to that in 5 seconds? What am I going to put in that yellow blank? Oh, darn it, Aiden. 4, 3, 2, 1. Everyone copy what Aiden wrote. That's some people type. Everyone type an answer. That's it. I'm sitting here and waiting this 6th hour. Bunch of meanies. No, I'm not going to type. I'm too cool for school. Robert, I better see something typed. That means you're here and not taking a siesta on your couch during the notes. Man, this teacher's mean. We're waiting for you, Robert. Just type the word angle. I feel like I'm Alex Trebek on Celebrity Jeopardy. On anyone ever see that on Saturday Night Live? It's one of the funniest things on Saturday Night Live. Nobody, Aiden, have you? That's what I feel like. Just write a number, any number. All right, and he's talking to Sean Connery. Did Robert? Nice, Robert. Well done. Okay, good. You're there. It is angle. You tan an angle. My computer turned on me too, much like the students. All right, tan an angle, and then that equals a ratio of sides. So in the structure of a question, depending on what's unknown, you need to understand what you have and what you're supposed to be finding. Okay, I won't make you type in the chat. Obviously, the other one is a reversal. You inverse tan a ratio of sides to get an angle. All right. And you think, well, this is stupid. Of course, I know that. Well, you should see what happened in the chat 5th hour when I had a question on the calculator. Everybody almost got it wrong except for one student. What do I have? An angle or a ratio of sides? So it was interesting. Not on this one. I think everyone knows this is a no calculator, and everyone knows that 4 pi over 3 is an angle. You sign an angle. Okay, in the chat, what's the reference angle? Hold on, Aiden. 5. For an over 3, what's the reference angle? 4, 3. Michael! 2. Beatrice! 1. You're all illegal. 0. Again, now they're going against me. They're not even following the time frame. They're just going ahead and answering. This is like anarchy, man. All right, it is 60 degrees. Cool beans. Okay. All right, can you please follow the time frame? What quadrant is this in? 5, 4. Colin, don't do it. 3, 2, 1, go. Now this will be interesting. Oh, nice. Awesome. Amazing. Ooh, I like the 3 in Natalie and what's that called? Roman numerals. A lot of students don't know Roman numerals. Only because of the Super Bowl do we know Roman numerals. It's the only thing where we see Roman numerals anymore. And here's how you got that. And look at everybody. I feel like I don't have to teach this then. Robert, did you answer? Oh, yes, nice, Robert. Okay, 3 pi over 3. Good. Actually, how many people got that right? So maybe they are. I hope you don't have the unit circle in front of you. If that's the reason you knew it was in quadrant 3, then you got to get rid of that. 3 pi over 3 is pi. So 4 pi over 3 goes a little bit after that. And then I'm not asking this in the chat. I'd be dejected. How many students don't know 30? The side opposite's 1. 60, root 3. Side opposite 92. It's inexcusable at this point to not know those side measures opposite the 30, 60, 90s. Inexcusable. Even if you don't do your homework. How many times you've seen me write this, in these times together? Either not watching, not doing your homework. There's a bunch of knots going on there if you're not knowing that. So one more thing as I'm complaining, boy, I was just a jerk today. -1 comma negative root 3, it's a coordinate. So that's why those have to be negative, left and down. So don't be making that mistake either. All kidding aside. And then, just to get this done, y, x, r. Sir, negative root 3 over 2. Boom. That's it. You move on. Okay, in the chat, get ready. What is the reference angle? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Nice. 6s are 30s. So that's just something you need to, get. Uh-oh. I think most everyone got this wrong last hour. What quadrant is negative 11 pi over 6 in? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go. Ooh, is Aiden right? Ooh, look at this. A bunch of 4s. Now the 1s are rolling in. I bet you the 4s. It's funny in fifth hour, fifth hour, last hour. Most people put 4, and there was only one person that put 1. That was weird. You're right. It's actually 1. You put 4 because you probably went counterclockwise. This is a clockwise move. That's the only point of a negative angle measure. And I'm going to put this how they got this quick. In 4, you were kind of right, but you just went the wrong direction, I bet. So it's not 2 pi, it's negative 2 pi that you want to write, which is negative 12 pi over 6. I'll put the pi so we know we're way beyond this. So we know we're not in quadrants 2 or 3. So negative 11 pi over 6 is short of negative 12 pi over 6 just by, well, there you go, 30 degrees, or pi over 6. Pi over 6 is equal to 30 degrees, so that's why we can say that. Side opposite 31, side opposite 60 root 3, 92. Come on. All right, and they are both positive because we are in quadrant 1. So everything's positive in quadrant 1. Cosine is Kixer. Hey, same ratio. It's because it's cosine of a 30 instead of sine of a 60, our previous one. So that's why we get these similar ratios. Again, doing your homework over and over again, you're getting sick of these ratios. I understand it. All right, negative 3 pi over 2. Careful, the answer is not a quadrant. I need positive or negative, x or y axis. Where does this land? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This didn't go so well in fifth hour either. And it's not going well in sixth hour. No one answered. Is it a positive or negative, x or y axis where I land? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Already did a countdown. Ooh, is he right? Skylar put it. Okay, good. Guess this is a tough one, or we don't want to answer anymore. I bet you're just not sure. It is the positive y-axis. When I go in reverse direction this way, this is negative pi over 2. This is negative pi. Take half of that, that's why that's negative pi over 2. So negative 3 pi over 2 ends up, yes, on the positive y-axis. In the chat, what's that coordinate? 5, 4, 3, 2. Thanks, Colin. 1, 0. Come on, man. Ooh, Alexander won. Thought, Colin, you were going to get it up there. Thanks, Robert. Man, woke up Robert today. Why is he yelling my name so many times? It is 0, 1 with R equal to 1. And then this is X and Y. Okay. In 5 seconds, what's the answer? 4, 3, 2, 1. Caesar's typing 0. I should grade you on this. Say once you answer, then maybe you can leave early or something. Nobody's going to write the answer? Probably sick of typing, aren't you? Hey, YouTube, this is how long it takes for this. Nice, Alex. Thank you. It is undies. Because it is R. So secant's related to cosine. So I'd write Kixer and then go backwards. That's on my brain. I don't write it like if I was being tested on this. Kixer, okay, R over X. It's got to be the flip of that, which is 1 over 0. Cannot write 1 over 0 as a final answer. I will mark you wrong because you're telling me you don't know that's undefined. All right. We'll give you a break from the chat. You're probably getting sick of typing as you're trying to write as well. Okay, but instantaneously, the very first thing you do on this is what's the reference angle? Over 4s are 45s. So I know I have a 45, so at least I'll have the right triangle, the correct one. And then where does negative 15 pi over 4 land? Let's throw that in the chat. Let's see if you can get that right. It's open. Go ahead. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Who's the first one that can tell me what quadrant negative 15 pi over 4 lands? I don't know. Do we trust Aiden? Don't sell yourself short, Aiden. Come on. Colin seems to agree with you. Does anyone else agree? Abby's like, oh, fine, I'll type something. Looks like we have a consensus because here's what we got. I'm going to put this is my work off to the side. Negative 8 pi over 4 is negative 2 pi. Radians are not hard, man. They're really not. You just got to have a little fractional knowledge. And then what's left over is negative 7 pi over 4. And then that's what you got to figure out. Where does that land? Because this is like useless. This just gets me right back to where I started. So I can't help you on understanding negative 8 pi over 4 equals negative 2 pi. Negative 2 pi is a full revolution. These are all things that are supposed to be known at this point walking into this class. Well, I mean, we learned radians last week, so or actually this week. Did we just first learn radians Monday or Tuesday? Anyway, losing track of that. So negative 7 pi over 4. This is negative 8 pi over 4. I meant to hit red. So that's why I know I got one revolution and I got rid of it. And then where does this land? Clockwise, short of a negative 8 pi over 4. So this is a 45, as we said to begin with. If you don't know the sides opposite of 45, get out. I'm so angry. Those students that just don't do, and then they don't know these basics. Okay, and then that is a coordinate, 1, 1, so it is positive, positive. So just make it a point of that. And then cotan is pretty easy. Cotan is, in this question anyway, ticks, but reverse it. Doesn't matter. Even if you accidentally didn't reverse it, you'd still get 1 and get lucky. Okay? All right. Good stuff. Oh, what nuts? You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Hurry up. What quadrant is this in? Just kidding. Now, honestly, the first 4, those are no you will not have a calculator on that. So you need to know even bigger than 1 revolution. I'm going to expect you to, without a calculator, to be able to take a revolution out. This one, this is mean. I would probably make this on the calculator only to figure out where this lands. Okay? This is what I would do. And again, I'll relieve you from the chat on this one. I would take 77 and divide it by 12. Why 12? Because 12 pi over 6 is a revolution. So that tells me like how many revolutions I have. I'm going to make sure that, let me do 6 times 12 back and forget about that decimal. 6 times 12 is 72. So what I've done is I've broken this down into 72 pi over 6. Let me just check that real quick. What's 72 divided by 6? Aha. So in the chat, after all of that, what is 12 pi? Well, we already wrote it, but what's 12 pi? How many revolutions is that? It's on the calculator. So I guess that's insulting to even ask you on the chat. So forget it. It's 6 revolutions. So this is 6 revolutions, which gets me right back to our side. I don't even want to write that. I mean, look at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then this is all in the way of my triangle. All right, it's a big mess. So I don't really want to write that. I want to understand that I don't need it. It just gets me back to where I started. And then all I have to figure out is what's left over. Okay, please, one more time in the chat. Where's 5 pi over 6? What quadrant? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I need a number. Just write a number. Any number. Alex Trebek. You really should look those up. Those are funny. I actually was with some friends at a party, and then we ended up opening up YouTube and watching all the Alex Trebeks by Will Ferrell. Hilarious. Probably not appropriate. I shouldn't be telling you, to watch inappropriate things. Probably rated R TV. But I mean, it's on TV, so. All right, so what's negative? Root 3, because I went left. No need to put that in the chat. And then up 1. So don't forget about that. It's funny if you watch those Alex Trebek ones, though, they're dated. You probably won't even know some of the characters they are spoofing, like Sean Connery, for instance. Cosecant is Sir, the opposite of Sir. So again, a lot of people don't mess that up on the test. SOHCAHTOA, Sir Kicks or Ticks, don't know the basics from chapter 1. So point of writing that down again. Right? Try to reaffirm that. All right, so done with this section. Let's go to this one. 6. Oh, shoot, I forgot to erase some. And dang it, I forgot to make another copy for next hour. Oh, well. Okay, making a point that says a big fat positive. And then this kind of question will be on the test for sure. It will be worded almost exactly like this. You got to read the question. You can't just skip over the important parts like this. This is new. This is new. I gave a real short, tiny book assignment today just to do something. Next week, I have a worksheet that has questions worded like this perfectly. So hopefully you remember this set of notes here. Next week, I just don't have much more to do. I'm going to go through 3-2 a little bit on Wednesday, I think, with you guys. We have no Wednesday. Wednesdays are a Tuesday next week. You know that, right? So we have no Wednesday shortened hybrid day next week because of the day off. But anyway, give me a chance to write this. First of all, what's the reference angle? We've been doing this so many times, someone should already know what kind of triangle this is. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Ooh, this worked out well last hour. No, not 90. I get it, though. I get it because you're thinking X or Y have to be 1, but it's not 90. What's the reference angle? Come on, someone figure out what it is. 1 over 1 is what 1 represents as a fraction. Colin, are you typing? I'm still waiting. Oh, this is so awkward. This is going to be on YouTube. Nice, Michael and Ryan. It is a 45. So I get it. That's a common error saying it's 90 degrees. Thinking that the Y is 1, so the R might be 1. It's not true. Actually, the Y and the X are both 1. So if you think about it, this could be in quadrant 1, 1 comma 1. Oh, that'd be root 2. So that's how we knew that was a 45. But what other quadrants? Well, look at the question. Find the exact value of x in the interval. What quadrant is that? That's between pi and 3 pi over 2. Real quick in the chat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm getting less and less people put in the chat. They're getting sick of it. Where's pi to pi over or 3 pi over 2? What quadrant is that? Not 1. That's what they're asking, Caesar. They want this in quadrant 3. They want only one answer. So before, you had to give me both answers. Before, you had to give me, by the way, the 45 in quadrant 1 is pi over 4. Well, I need, because of the directions, only the quadrant 3 answer. And how does that happen? When they're both negative. And then this is how you do it if you were severely behind. This is pi. We make that 4 pi over 4 in our mind so that we know we have to jump forward. So it's 5 pi over 4. So back in the day, without these directions, without this here, you needed both answers. With those directions there, they only want you to give that one answer, not this one. So I just wanted you to make sure you read the directions and know that there's only one answer that they want here. Okay? So added little directions to get only one answer, not two. The previous direction said give me all answers from 0 to 2 pi, and I think I did that on Wednesday. That would have been both answers. This is just one. Okay? All right, so hopefully you get that interval notation. Okay. Well, seems to be my favorite. What kind of angle measure gets root 2 over 2 for sine? Chat, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Nobody? Nobody knows sine of what angle measure equals root 2 over 2? Come on. Chat's open. Somebody do it. Michael, I know. You're like, can someone else answer sometimes? It's been, there you go, Abigail. You're mixing up some names in there. All right, good. It's going to be a 45. This comes from negative 1 over root 2. So after doing your homework, if you're doing your homework, you see these so many times you're getting sick of them. Well, then that's the point of, we don't have to draw triangles anymore. We can probably figure this out. Oh, and by the way, what quadrant are we looking at? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. There you go, Michael. All by yourself. There you go. You got some friends there. Natalie and Natalie. Good, the Natalies. All right. So you don't need to draw a triangle. And actually, I'm just doing this for helping. You should know that this is a 45. And you should know that this is quadrant 4. A 45 is over 4. That means 8 pi over 4 is a revolution. So 7 pi over 4 is the 45 in quadrant 4. No triangle needed, right? If you went to calculus and Lockport, that would be expected to be done fast without drawing and taking a long time on it. Okay, so the only point of these questions, they will be on the test with the more specific wording of what interval we want, so we only get one answer instead of the two that I was covering on Wednesday. So you just got to read your directions, and that's all there is to it. Okay, now, this is the hardest thing, and I actually went over this a little bit at the end of Wednesday, and it requires some more. And actually, it was unbelievable. And we'll see if it happens in this hour. Please go back in the chat because it actually gives me some information. Don't feel bad that you're going to be wrong. 95% of the students in fifth hour were wrong on my first question. So I'm putting this down one more time. We're going to the calculator, and you may think, oh, good, I like the calculator. I could just press buttons and copy the answer. No, this is actually pretty rough what's going to happen next. So please really focus. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm trying to make you focus on this. Again, you sine an angle, and the answer is a ratio. You inverse sine a ratio, and that gives you an angle. Knowing that is very important when you're dealing with radians, because radians look like ratios of sides. They're small little decimals. So it can be a problem. So here's my first question. Please go back in the chat. This gives me a lot of information. All right, I'm going to call you out if you haven't answered. If I notice your name doesn't show up or pop up, angers me. Okay, what is this then? What is 1.85? Is that an angle or is that a ratio of sides? It's open. Go ahead and just type. Is 1.85 a ratio or an angle of side, or a ratio of sides or an angle? So just say ratio or angle. Look at the ratios coming up. So now everyone's like ratio. Okay, then people. I haven't seen all the names. Robert. Okay, Robert is in there. Good. Skylar, did you answer? Okay, this is funny. Ratio, ratio, ratio. Amanda's in there. Amber, did you answer? Did you? Okay. Natalie's, did you answer? This is hilarious. Abigail, I think you did, right? Colin, did you? All right. Let me see how many people answered. Looks like most of you, if you snuck through. This is hilarious. I wish I could take a screenshot of this. You're all 100% wrong. Isn't that great coming from a teacher? Dudes, look. Sine of an angle equals a ratio. Cosine, that doesn't say inverse. That is an angle. And it's just proving my point. I'm not ripping on you, not making fun of you. This is the problem. This is the problem when you get into radians. That is actually an angle in radians, not a ratio. So that is a radian measure. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to draw this one more time to solidify what I knew was going to happen. Same thing happened in fifth hour, except for one or two people put angle correctly. Here is, and you should write this down, even though this is a calculator question, so you get a feel for what is happening here. Do you remember the video that was 1.5 minutes long? That this was approximately 1 radian, this was approximately 2, this was approximately 3 radians, and so on and so on and so forth. Well, this is 1.85 radians. So what I'm going to do is do pi over 2, and I have this memorized as 1.57 radians. Okay, so 1.85 radians is in quadrant 2, and that's it. Just trying to get you a feel for what you're cosigning. That is approximately where that angle measure lands. Okay, it's bigger than 1.57 radians, which is pi over 2. By the way, it might be smart. I did this in last hour, and I did have it memorized. This is 4.71 radians. And then this is 6.28 radians. So that is an angle, and it lands in quadrant 2. So when we go to the calculator, you got to tell your calculator you're in radians. And this is the point. 1.85 degrees, look at my hand, is like this big, right? Isn't 1.85 degrees very small? That's a terminal side that's in quadrant 1. 1.85 radians is in quadrant 2. So that's why the calculator needs to know, what is my angle in, radians or degrees? So I'm in radians, and this is a flat out cosine. So it is interesting, not making fun of you. I know this is a problem. Once we deal with radians and the calculator, students don't know what they got. They don't know that they actually have an angle here. Negative 0.2756. Negative 0.2756. What this represents is x over r. The two sides divided just as a decimal. That's the other thing that we have to understand. When I hit enter, that's the ratio of sides. Okay? All right, so I think you get it that this is an angle. Problem is I don't have a cotan button on my calculator. So I need to 1 over tan this. So this one's pretty straightforward. This didn't go too well on the test. A lot of people got this wrong. Okay? Just the cotan of an angle measure question. Another reason this is a radian, something to bring up, there is no degree on this. There is such a thing as 1.85 degrees, believe me. But when it doesn't have a degree mark, then that is a radian measure. So I know we know 30 degrees. If I asked you sine of 30 and this was the question, this is actually a radian because I didn't put a degree symbol on there. There's such a thing as 30 radians. It's actually almost 5 rotations. 6.28, think about as being one rotation. 6 goes into 35 times. So 30 radians is 5 or 4 rotations and then something left over. So these are things that are a little tricky with radians that we need to understand. Okay, and then now we got a real problem. You're going to think, calculator, good, I get to copy the screen. No, you don't. This is actually probably the hardest question of the day, and then the next one is even more challenging. Okay, here we go. What's 0.9685? Is it an angle or a ratio of sides? Let's do it again. I'm going to look for everyone to be in the chat. So Muhammad was the last one at 9:41. So put in the chat, do you think it's an angle or a ratio? And then just because everyone else is writing it, don't just copy it. Everyone was wrong last one. So you stand alone on this. So Aiden started at 9:46. Aiden says ratio. Michael says ratio. That's 2 people. We'll wait. We got 20. How many? 20. Someone's missing. Let's go ahead. Say a number. Write a word. Any word. Uh-oh. Is this going to be the same thing where everybody's wrong? Look at Ryan. I'm going to be different. I'm going to say angle. Let's see if anyone else goes with you, Ryan. Ooh, okay. We got a couple others. Look at now the angles are coming. Oh, you're going to be mad. Well, half of you are going to be mad. I think some people. Robert, did you answer? Yeah, he's up there. He said ratio. Okay, sorry guys. It's actually ratio. You cosine an angle and you get a ratio. So this is a ratio. So what we're trying to say is you're finding an angle. All right, that's what's missing. So sure, in finding this, we're going to have to inverse cosine. So understanding the structure of a question, knowing that this is a ratio. You cosine an angle to equal a ratio, and I'm missing the angle. All right, but here's the problem. Your calculator betrays you. Because look at the directions. So it's going to be an inverse cosine. I'm already in radians. 0.9685. Enter. And then 0.2517. 0.2517. 0.2517. 3 pi over 2 is 4.71. 2 pi is 6.28. And I just randomly lost my pen. Love it. Is this number between these two? And the answer is no. The reason is that angle is in quadrant 1. Here's 0.2517. Actually, I made it too big, but that's what 2.2517 radians is. It's in quadrant 1. This is quadrant 4. So even with the calculator question, they are wanting the quadrant 4 answer, not the quadrant 1. Well, this is a reference angle. All I need is the angle measure that is here in quadrant 4. So tell me what you do on your calculator to name this angle. Let me just see the first person in the chat. What mathematically would I have to type on my calculator to get that blue angle measure? Let's see who wins that one. What would I have to do to get that angle measure going in that direction? Not this negative direction. This is actually a negative direction. Thinking about that. No one's going to type it? It's actually a very simple question. Do not say 360. This is radians. I just gave you a hint. What's the equivalent to 360? Come on, somebody type it. Amber, are you typing? It looks like you're typing. Nobody? Abigail's like this. Can't type like this, Abigail, when you get your holding your head up with your hand. What about 2 pi, Alexander? Is that the answer? Or what do I have to type my calculator to get that blue angle measure? 2 pi. 2 pi. Then what? Fifth hour got this pretty quick. So x equals 2 pi. We'll just stay here. So We do this, but then we jump back. 2 pi. Oh, this is awkward. This is like The Office. Hey, I'm accidentally nice. Thanks, Abigail, and then thanks, Alexander. I'm still going to tell my story. I got Peacock TV right now, which is one of the billion streaming services. And now I'm watching The Office again, and they have added scenes on the Peacock network or the Peacock TV thing. Is actually pretty cool. There's like 5 minutes extra in each episode. So the episode, it's like rewatching them brand new. So that's a commercial for the Peacock streaming service from Mr. Samuelus. YouTube should give me some more money than the 1 penny I get for every 1,000 views. I still haven't made a penny. 6.03. Okay. Rads. Okay, so I think you're getting it. This is not just button pushing. You have to actually know what the heck you're doing. And then I threw this one as the last question. Same directions, find x, and x is between pi over 2 and pi. Oh, shoot. I forgot to erase this, but it's still there. So what they're asking is, what is the quadrant 2 angle? Because here's pi over 2 to pi. So I need this answer. So my answer needs to be between, oh, I just had a brain blank, 3.14, 1.57. I knew I was going to do 1.7. No, 1.57. So it's got to be between these two decimals. Or is the middle son in The Incredibles Demisels? Anyone ever see that movie? All right. I'm having trouble with the Demisels, Dad. Okay, so we go to the calculator. They ask the stupid question, is this a ratio or an angle? It's a ratio, my friends. Or you'd have to inverse tan in order to get x by itself. So it's an inverse tan. Make sure your calculator's in radians again. Doesn't change, so it still is. 1.3471. Enter. Oh no. Negative 0.9322. First of all, negative 0.9322 is certainly not in between these two decimals. Second, all students take calculus tells me that when tangent has a negative ratio, we could be in quadrant 1 or 4. This answer is actually directly in quadrant 4 when we need a quadrant 2 answer. So this is actually the reference angle in quadrant 4 because it's the one that's attached to the nearest x-axis. So all I got to do is understand that this is the angle I need. Last in the chat, you type it, we're done. What is this angle measure then? What would I have to type on my calculator? So again, it's this move, but then jump back. That's how simple it is. So let's get somebody to type it and finish the day. Waiting, waiting. Awkward. What would I type? Thanks, Ryan, Michael, Alexander. Second pi. I'm just going to put plus answer. That's the same thing as minus that decimal. Okay, 2.21, and then we can go double check. Oh boy, I gotta move. You know what? I'm sick of seeing my face anyway. What was that? 2.21. Look at that. That is in between the and I lost my pen. Wait, I think it just came back. Fun. You know what? It's gonna write it 2.21, 2.21. All right, and then notice that is in between those two numbers. So we're all good. All right, Asala bye-bye. Wait a minute. Wow, is this 15 minutes early? How dare he? I think I took attendance, aka took your pictures, screenshot. So